guys, Savvy Tech Girl here. Today I'm going to go over a video on VirtualBox and what is a VirtualBox. There's a lot of times when people want to be able to use more than one operating system. Maybe you're the type of person who wants to test some things. Maybe you, like me, you run a Mac, but sometimes you need a Windows machine. You don't want to have to get your laptop out. You don't want to have a second machine running. So VirtualBox actually allows you to emulate, run different machines, virtual machines on one computer. A couple of things you need to keep in mind. Obviously, if you're going to be running a virtual machine, essentially you are using two operating systems. You need to make sure you've got lots of memory. I have 16 gig in my Mac. That's about right, because you're going to need to allocate sort of half of that to your main operating system. The other half is going to be to your virtual machine. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go on to the internet. You're going to want to download the free, it's an open source program, so there's no cost for it. And you can go to virtualbox.org, and then that's going to bring you to their website. So if you go into your download section, here you can pick which platform you want. So Windows, OS X, which is what I'm using, Linux, or Solaris is in there as well. So simply click on the version you need, it will download it, and then you can run your install, or obviously OS X, you're going to run an image file, and you can get your VirtualBox installed. Once it's installed, you are going to open it up and you are going to see this VirtualBox Manager. Now you're not going to have anything in the left hand side, and that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to work on installing we're going to use a Linux system. So I essentially actually want to get a virtual machine of a Raspberry Pi running on my Mac, so I can, instead of having to do testing on the Pi itself, I can do some testing on my computer, get things running, and then I can put it on the Pi. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So you're going to install your Oracle VirtualBox Manager, and once you've done that, then we are going to install an image file. Okay, so that's the next thing we're going to do. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we need to create a new virtual machine. Okay, so like I said, you're not going to see anything on the left hand side here, so you want to go up and create new. And then from new, we can call it, what should we call it? Pi emulator. Okay, so just so I know what it is, it's already seen that I've put emulator, so it must be a Linux version. And we actually want to go here, because this is the version I'm going to install. It's actually the easiest one to install if you want to get Raspberry Pi going on your system. And this is the image that I have downloaded, and I simply went on to the website. You can go onto their website, so it's debian.org, and then you're going to pick the actual processor architecture that you have. So I went with an AMD 64. Hopefully that will work in my case, and we're soon going to find out. And here I'm just going to click on continue. I'm going to now allocate the size of memory I want my computer to allocate to this virtual machine. So it's Linux, you're not going to need a lot. We can just go to 2 gig, so 2000 megabytes, that should be enough. Again, you need to remember you're also running, in my case, a Mac operating system in the background, so you just sort of want to split your resources there, and I can click on continue. I'm going to create a virtual disk. Okay, and I'm going to be creating a disk image, so I can just click on continue. I am allowing the computer to allocate the hard disk file size. I can make it fixed if I want to, but it's just easier to allow the computer to do that part. Click on next, and I've called it a Pi emulator, and I'm going to click on create. So it's actually created my VirtualBox for me, although we haven't installed anything yet. So when we go to open this and start it, there's nothing there. So now we're going to need to tell this machine where our image is. So I'm going to go into my folder here, and I am going to go to my documents, and I should be able to find my image. So this is the image that I have downloaded off of the internet. And I'm going to click on open, and at this point I'm going to just say start. Alright, so if all goes well, and the system now has come up and it has recognized that this is what we want to do, so I'm going to click enter, and we will be installing the emulator. So simple as that. I'm going to go through as if I were installing this on any other computer. I'm going to pick my location, key mapping, that's fine. It's going through, it's detecting hardware, and that's something that the emulator is going to do itself. So it's going to go through, it's going to look at the hardware on the system, it's going to know what type of processor you have, what type of video card you have. There may be a little bit of setup that you may have to go through in order to get this working, but as you can see right now, we're installing a emulator. We're installing another operating system on a Mac using a virtual machine. Okay, so my computer is working a little bit harder because, as I said, I'm now running 2 operating systems, not just one. So you want to make sure that if you are doing this, that you do have a, you know what, especially when you're using a Linux-based system, you don't need a lot of extra memory, but I would suggest that, I'm running 16 gig in mine, so I can allocate sort of half of that. So host name, yeah, I'm going to leave that the same. Domain name, I'm not putting it on to my domain, so just like it says here, if you're setting up a home network, you can make something up. Alright, so let's just call it the Raspberry Pi. Okay. Click on continue. Enter. Root password. So this is a password. You need to set a password for root. This is a system administrative account as it says, so you want to make sure that you put something, A, that you're going to remember, and B, something that somebody else isn't going to get a hold of. So Savvy Tech Girl is my username for the account, obviously Savvy Tech Girl, and I'm just going to use a different password for that, as I didn't use the same as the administrative password. So I'm going to select my time zone, so I'm Eastern time zone. It's going through, checking disks. So you can see it's fairly straightforward. It's exactly as if you were installing this onto, let's say, a laptop. So here is, we're looking at partitioning disks. Now remember, when you're looking through this, it is only going to look at the part of the disk you've allocated for the emulator, so don't think it's going to wipe everything out of your other computer, of the other operating system. So I'm just going to say use entire disk here, and I've allocated 8 gigabytes for this VirtualBox, so that's fine. That's the partition I want. I'm going to click enter, select partitioning, so at this point it can be partitioned using one of several different schemes. Again, if you're unsure, it says use the first one. I'm going to use the first one anyway. Just a basic setup, nothing nothing complicated at all here, and then I'm going to finish partitioning. Alright, so write the changes to disk. If you continue, changes will be written to the disk. So we're going to say yes. It's going through, it's doing its format. So I think the really cool thing about this is that you can actually run other operating systems to test things. I like to do full testing on software and things like that before I actually have to put it onto a Raspberry Pi. Doing something like this allows you to play around with it. Worst case, you can always delete it. start over again. You don't have to worry about losing everything off of your computer. As I say, it's just strictly an emulator, and yeah, it allows you to do all sorts. So it's just going through here and it's doing the installation. Okay, so we're just coming up to the end of the installations. We're at 98%. It's gone through. It's configuring all the keyboards, the Bluetooth, the mouse, any USB devices, and it's just going through and doing the full setup and the full configuration. All in all, this probably took about, I would say, 7 to 9 minutes. It wasn't any longer than that. So here I'm going to pick is to find the mirror of the archive that is closest to me. So I'm saying it is going to be the United States because Canada's not on here. And I'm going to click on the United States. Hopefully this will work. Enter. And the FTP site, so that's the US site, that's fine. Enter. Alright, now this is going, I'm just going to leave this part blank, so we don't need to put the proxy in at this point. This is, I just want to get it installed. At any time we can actually go back in and change this. Alright, and then it's going through, it's downloading some information now from the internet. So again, exactly as if you were installing this onto a laptop or a desktop computer standalone. The only difference is, as you can see that in the background, I'm still on my Mac operating system. It's still up and running. I'm still able to go on to the internet. I'm able to do anything I want while this is installing. I'll just show you. I can go in here, right, and then I can go in and I can go to my web page. So while I'm doing that, I'm using my Mac. I'm still doing an installation here in the background. So it's just going through and it's still downloading some extra files here. Now you'll notice at the bottom we have some icons, and if you click on these icons, so this would be USB, they're pretty self-explanatory. Obviously you've got your networking icon, and you can see when the green light flashes, that means it's communicating, so there. This is the disk, so it's using the disk when it flashes. This is USB, so if I click on that, this will show me all the USB devices that I have connected to my computer currently. That allows you to either use them or not use them. You can click them if you want to use them, check them off. If you don't want to use them, you can just leave them as is, but that shows that this system has actually seen all of my USB devices. Okay, and then beside that we have a display, so that's showing us what video card is being used. You may have 2 video cards in your computer, at which point you're actually able to pick which video card you would like to be using for this emulator. Alright, then we also have video capturing, so if you're as I'm doing right now, I'm capturing video, so you can disable that and enable it. So this is just asking a simple question. The system will anonymously supply the distribution developer with statistics about the most used packages in the system. Do you want to participate? I always say yes. I like to participate when there's developers that they, you know what, it helps them better what they're doing. Just shows what people are using. It allows them to make things a little bit better. So anytime like that, I would absolutely say yes to that. So it says here at the moment only the core of the system installed. To tune the system to your needs, you can choose to install one or more of the predefined collections. So I'm fine. I'm just going to have the one desktop installed at this point. You can see there is a print server installed. You can just check off any of the ones that you want. And then I'm just going to click on enter. So this is more of a video to show you actually how to set the emulator up, more than a detailed on actually how to set this Linux distribution up. So as you can see, it says 10 minutes here. I'm just going to pause this video and I will be right back. Hey guys, okay, so now we are at the point of installing the bootloader on the disk. So it's just saying here, it seems that this is a new installation, the only operating system on this computer, because again, remember, this is a virtual machine, so it doesn't actually see your main operating system. So if so, it should be safe to install the bootloader. So we're just going to say yes at this point. Okay, and we are going to enter manually. Continue. So it's just putting the bootloader on here for us, and now it's just finishing up the installation. So the entire installation probably, I'm going to say, took about 30 minutes because it has to download everything off of the internet. So you're probably looking at, you know what, start to finish, you're probably looking about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on your internet speed. And we're just finishing up. Hey guys, okay, so now we are at the point of installing the bootloader on the disk. So it's just saying here, it seems that this is a new installation, the only operating system on this computer, because again, remember, this is a virtual machine, so it doesn't actually see your main operating system. So if so, it should be safe to install the bootloader. So we're just going to say yes at this point. Okay, and we are going to enter manually. Continue. So it's just putting the bootloader on here for us, and now it's just finishing up the installation. So the entire installation probably, I'm going to say, took about 30 minutes because it has to download everything off of the internet. So you're probably looking at, you know what, start to finish, you're probably looking about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on your internet speed. All right, finish the installation. We're going to click on yes to continue. And at this point, we are doing a reboot, so we are for the first time going to be loading into this Linux operating system. So in the background, you can see my virtual box. It says that it is running, and it's now going to boot up, hopefully, for the first time. So that's pretty much it, guys. You can do the same thing, whether you're going to be doing a Windows installation, a Linux installation, if you're running Windows and you want to do an OS X installation. Procedure would be exactly the same. So you're going to get your image file and you are going to boot from there. So I hope this helps you understand a little bit of what a virtual machine is. I hope it helps you understand what you can use it for. And again, if you have any questions, please get a hold of me on Twitter at SavvyTechGirl, and you can drop me an email, savvytechgirl@gmail.com. Get me on Facebook, facebook.com/SavvyTechGirl. So I'll be happy to help you out with any questions that you may have. Again, keep this in mind. You can run Windows, OS X, you can run any operating system in emulation mode, and you can do all your testing and you will be up and running and don't have to worry about interfering with anything else. So thanks guys for watching. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know.